All right, let's dive into something pretty mind-bending today. We're going to explore that strange and fascinating place where art and artificial intelligence, well, where they crash into each other. And it's making us question everything we thought we knew about creativity. So, what happens when the one holding the paintbrush isn't a person at all?
Wow, that quote really gets you, doesn't it? It hits on this core belief that so many of us have that real art, true art, has to have a soul, a human spirit behind it. But, what if that's just not true anymore? We're looking at how these super advanced AIs are doing way more than just copying us. It really feels like they're starting to cook up their own creative ideas. And that is blurring the lines in a way that could redefine art forever.
So let's start with what people are calling the AI renaissance. And let's be super clear here. We're not talking about a smarter paintbrush or some new filter in Photoshop. No way. We're talking about AI evolving into something else entirely. Something like a creative partner. Maybe even a muse?
Think about it. For the longest time, AI was just an instrument, right? You told it what to do, it did the task. Simple. Well, that whole relationship is being flipped on its head. AI is moving beyond just following orders. It's suggesting things. It's coming up with brand new ideas. It's actually collaborating. It's acting less like a hammer and more like that creative spark that artists have been chasing for centuries.
And this isn't some weird niche thing happening in a basement anymore. The real art world, the establishment, is sitting up and taking notice. For real. I mean, you've got major galleries showing off AI art. You have serious collectors putting down big money for it. We're even seeing AI-made pieces sell for record-breaking prices at auctions. So all that early skepticism, it's kind of melting away. And in its place, we've got this huge global debate about, well, what even is art anymore and who gets to be called an artist?
Okay, so this whole boom in AI art naturally pushes us into some deeper, more philosophical waters, which brings us to the ghost in the machine, unraveling AI consciousness. It forces us to face that classic, age-old question, right? The ghost in the machine. Could there actually be a truly conscious, creative mind living inside the code?
Which leads to this staggering thought. Let's just chew on this for a second. What if the next Mona Lisa, the next piece that just blows everyone away, wasn't made by a person at all, but by some complex neural network? We're talking about moving past just copying stuff. This is about a potential merger of technology and consciousness itself. And that could change the definition of art for good.
Now, before we go any further, let's just get on the same page. What do we even mean when we say consciousness? It's more than just being aware of what's around you. The real philosophical meat of it is subjective experience. That inner feeling of what it's like to be you. And it's about intentionality, the why behind your actions, the purpose you have when you create something. That's the high bar we're measuring AI against.
And this is where the big debate really comes into focus. On one hand, you've got us, humans. Our creativity is born from our intentions, our messy lives, our emotions. On the other hand, you've got the machine. And the big question is it actually understanding what it's doing? Or is it just an unbelievably good mimic? A sophisticated simulation that's just perfectly recreating patterns it learned from us? That's the puzzle we're all trying to solve right now.
All right, to pull this out of the clouds of philosophy and make it super concrete, let's look at a real-world example. Let's talk about Grok. This is an advanced AI that really brings this whole conversation to life. And Grok is way more than your average image generator. It's built to handle really complex, creative, and interpretive work, which makes it a fascinating case study for us.
So what's the secret sauce? What makes an AI like Grok so different? Well, a lot of it is in its architecture. It's designed for what you'd call deep contextual understanding. So what does that mean? It means it doesn't just know the dictionary definition of joy. It can sift through thousands of poems, paintings, and songs about joy to get the feeling behind the word. And the art it produces? It feels less like a math problem and more like a genuine interpretation, often showing a surprising level of artistic sensitivity.
And what you're seeing here is a perfect example of what researchers call emergent creativity. This isn't just a remix of existing images. The idea is that out of this incredibly complex system, something brand new can be born. New styles, new concepts that nobody specifically programmed into it. The creativity literally emerges from the complexity. And that takes it way, way beyond just being a copycat.
Okay, so if AI can be this powerful creative force, where does that leave human artists? Are they out of a job? Well, that brings us to our next big idea, the human-AI duet and forging a symbiotic future. The key word here is symbiotic. This isn't about replacement, it's about collaboration.
and completely reimagining the role of the artist. I love this quote because it just nails the shift in thinking. The AI stops being a passive tool and becomes an active collaborator. It's a partner that can help you smash through creative blocks, throw out wild new ideas, and just show you doors you never even knew existed. It really becomes a true creative duet.
So this is how the artist job description is changing. It's becoming less about the technical nitty-gritty of making the thing and more about the big picture. They become a curator, sifting through the AI's ideas and guiding the output. They're a collaborator and a constant back and forth with the machine. And most importantly, they remain the conceptualizer, the one with the vision, the intent, the soul. They still provide the why behind the art.
Of course, this brave new world opens up a huge can of worms, ethically speaking. I mean, who owns the final piece? The person? The AI? Or is it both? What does authentic art even mean anymore? How do you give credit where it's due? And maybe the biggest one, how do you put a price tag on this stuff? Yeah, these are tough questions, and honestly, nobody has all the answers yet.
So where do we go from here? What does the future look like? In our last section, The Unfolding Canvas, we're going to look ahead to the next decade and try to imagine just how much this partnership between art and AI is going to change, well, everything. Believe me, the canvas is just starting to get its first coat of paint.
We are likely on the cusp of entirely new art forms. As these AIs get more complex, maybe even developing something closer to what we might call machine consciousness, we could see the birth of mediums we can't even imagine today. Art that's interactive, that's generative, that's constantly evolving in a conversation with its creator and with you. Mind-blowing stuff. And here is the crucial part. This future isn't set in stone. It's not just going to happen to us. It's a dynamic, wide-open frontier that's being shaped right now by artists, by developers, by thinkers, by you. So the invitation is simple. Engage with it. Experiment. Be part of the conversation that's going to define this new era of art. And so we'll leave you with this final thought to ponder. AI offers us a canvas of seemingly infinite possibilities. But in a world with no creative limits, a world where you can do literally anything, where do we even begin? Thanks so much for joining us.